IVM.
Shall we do a masterclass in how do we start this practice of mantras? So if you can take us through how to, do jappa, how to choose a jappa mala, what is the process in which we can start? Maybe with even a mantra that everyone can use. So, because I know people would be listening to this podcast saying, how can I start now?
Yes.
That's the kind of people
Of
that we have
course.
on our podcast.
Yeah.
So how would we start this? How can you give us a little class on this?
So I would like to keep it simple because, again, the more complicated you make it, it's more difficult for people to get started, and it's not always required also, So like I said, there may be very elaborate mantra sadhanas that require so many preparations that are not suitable for most people. So no point in even going into that.
Right.
Just like the average guy doesn't need to go through a whole treatment in the hospital. He may have enough by just having the right diet at home. So as a mantra that anybody can take up, I would say that a prasiddha mantra would be ideal because, like I said, it doesn't require any initiation. It'll give you good results, It won't create any problem even if you do it totally wrong. So let us take Om Namah Shivaya.
Okay.
There are many occasions, whether it is Mahashivaratri or Shravan Mas or times when people may especially want to do it. But for me, it's a daily practice. I've made it a daily habit to do this. It's a small mantra, so even doing it 108 times may take you just 5 minutes maximum, But then I would say it's quality time over quantity. Because when you do the mantra sincerely, when your mind is fully there, your consciousness is fully there, anyway your breath and body are involved in chanting the mantra, then it's much more effective than you just playing it in the background when you're doing the dishes or, just you're chanting it on autopilot, but actually you're planning your day. So I would say that sitting with that, a sense of reverence or attention, joyful awareness. And then it's good to sit and do the mantra, especially mantras that start with Om. We should do it sitting,
Okay.
not walking around or standing. So you can sit if you have a place at home where you won't be disturbed, which has a nice atmosphere. Maybe you have your own little meditation corner or a place where sometimes you do some yoga or some quiet reading, or you have a puja place, a small mandir or something. These places are ideal. I wouldn't say do it sitting on your bed because sleep is a different flavor of energy.
Right.
So sit somewhere nice.
In the bedroom is fine?
Yeah, if you have a corner like that in the bedroom, it's okay. As long as you're not sitting on your bed.
Fair.
Because all night you're sleeping there, so you may go off to sleep in your jappa also.
Correct.
Or feel like lying down. And then it's nice to sit, because when the spine is erect, you're more aware, you're more alert. And then personally also, I would always say it's nice to be clean. So if you have a morning routine, which I hope it's a good habit to take a shower or to take a bath, do that first. Brush your teeth, take a bath, wear some clean clothes, also a very good habit. And then you sit peacefully. And that can be before or after your yoga or meditation or whatever you want to do. And then just sit, and for some time you can chant the mantra. You can do it mentally also, but when you do it out loud, it doesn't have to be super loud. But then because you hear it also, it has a nice effect on the surroundings as well. So where you're not disturbing anyone, I would say that is very nice. Sit for some time and then chant the mantra. So if you do Om Namah Shivaya, we can chant it like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Like that, if you do, it will just take you a few minutes to do one mala. And like I said, it's nice to do it at least 108 times. Because if you want, you can count it. Of course, you can also say, I'll just sit for a few minutes. But this number, there's a reason why they recommend it. If you see the jappa malas, the necklace that they use to count with the beads. I'll not say rosary because that has a different connotation, but the idea is the same. The rosary also, in the Christian tradition, I don't know if the number, it differs, but they also use it to count. So you say, okay, whatever, you have to do so many Hail Marys or this or that.
Correct.
So somewhere you have to count. Now, the Jappa Mala has usually 108 beads plus one. That ninth one is, they call it a Meru or the Sakshi. That one we don't touch. That is just to know that you've completed your round.
Right.
Because it's nice. You can close your eyes, and then using the mala, when you reach that extra one, okay, I've been all the way around. And then there's a few things. I made some reels about it also once on Instagram with some more details. But for example, that we don't use the index finger ideally when counting. And if people want, they can check it out. But what type of mala? Again, there are different types. If you have a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya, then Rudraksha is always nice because the Rudraksha bead is very dear to Lord Shiva. But even if you have something else like a Spatika mala, the crystal, or if people have like a Krishna mantra or a Vishnu mantra, then the Tulsi mala can be very nice. So again, as a general thing, I wouldn't go too much into it now. For specific sadhanas that may have an added benefit.
Okay.
Rudraksha is anyway always very good. It's very nice. Just keep it clean. So the mala that we use for the jappa, we don't normally wear it during the day.
Okay.
So you just...
Oh, so that's a separate mala?
Separate, yes. So the one that we use for the jappa, you just keep it in a box or something that it doesn't become dusty or dirty. You just take it out for the practice and then again you put it back.
Okay.
That is if you want to do it really properly. And then, this number 108 from the Vedic cosmology signifies completion. And they explain it in different ways. For example, if you look from the Jyotish perspective, you have 9 heavenly bodies, the Navagraha, that move through 12 constellations, the zodiac signs, so the Rashis. So then if you say 9 times 12 gives you 108 combinations, permutations. So then if you do one mantra for each, you're sorted. You've covered all your bases.
And you don't have to focus on each of those while doing
No. Nothing like that. That all goes to the right place.
Okay. Let's get sorted out.
Yes. So you just do your down payment and then it will be distributed. But then, this number is very interesting because in creation also, like they got it from somewhere. And in creation, you find it in different places. So like one example I like to give usually to make people a little curious is that, for example, the distance from the sun to the moon is approximately 108 times the diameter of the moon. The distance from the earth to the sun is about 108 times the diameter of the sun. The diameter of the sun is approximately 108 times the diameter of the earth. So there's all these connections that you start seeing that how this creation works or how it's held together. There's a certain mathematics behind it that is making all of this work. So you can do one japa mala, or if you feel enthusiastic, you can say, okay, I will do 3, or you say, I'll do it in morning and in the evening. But at least once, I would say, at least once a day, or you can say if you want to do morning, evening, then once in the morning, once in the evening. It's really nice because then what happens, like I said, it starts conditioning your consciousness in a way that, or purifying it, we can also say that sounds even nicer maybe, where the quality of your thoughts improve. You'll find that you'll have less negative thoughts. So-called negative situations around you start influencing you less. And especially this mantra, the Om Namah Shivaya mantra, has also many specific benefits where it can help you also to improve the quality of time. So from the Jyotish perspective, it is one of the best remedies for various situations, because they say Lord Shiva sits on all the planets, all the grahas. So instead of going to that specific planet, if you go to him, he can also help you fix that. In the same way, from an Ayurveda perspective also, this is a great mantra because it helps to balance the 5 elements of which this body is made up. So this is a lovely mantra that people could experiment with if they wish to, that you say, okay, let me do it at least for 40 days or 48 days. They call that one mandala.
Right.
And it's interesting because they say in the scriptures that if you do something for one mandala, it becomes a habit.
So, one mandala is how
It's
long?
48 days.
48 days.
Yeah. Sometimes they say 40 also, but let's
What's the
be safe.
symbolism of a mandala?
So mandala, they say if you do anything for one mandala, means every day you do it, it becomes a habit. So that much time it takes to get into your
But it's
system.
not linked to the moon or linked to anything.
Yes,
like
there
that.
are many things
There are
behind it.
Okay.
Yes. And then if you do it for 3 mandalas, they say it continuously, it becomes a second nature.
Okay.
But yeah, so all these things, they look at it it comes from the Jyotish perspective, where you said we look at the moon or some other planets, because that also gives us an insight. It's like the rhythms in nature that are already present. Like we talk about circadian rhythms nowadays. People are more aware of, or at least they're becoming aware that it does make a difference if you eat at the right time or if you sleep at the right time. It's not just about the consistency. The timing does matter. Like you can be very consistent sleeping at 2 a.m. every day and waking up at 10 a.m. But if instead you sleep by 9 and wake up at 5, the quality of your sleep is much better. So there are rhythms in nature, biorhythms, that if you eat at a certain time, the right time, if you sleep at the right time, basically what you're doing is you're again going back to living in sync with nature, which how we were created. But then when TV and all these things came and now social media, that's all gone for a toss.
Completely.
Uber Eats, you can give you food at any time of the day. You don't need to wait for the sun to have some light to read something because we have electricity, So, and people are awake on the other side of the world. So if you want to keep gaming till late in the night, there's another fellow who's woken up somewhere else. You can always play with them. But then if you're in line with nature, because that's how we were made to function, yes, you find your health is better, your energy level, so many things improve. But there are cycles which are not just that 24 hours, So these biorhythms that we know of are within that 24-hour frame. That, okay, within the 24 hours, there's a certain time to sleep, certain time to wake up, to eat, to be active, to relax. But in Jyotish, they look at many more of these cycles where you say, okay, each day of the week, for example, has a certain energy. They are governed by a certain graha, let's say planet. It's not the ideal translation, but so if say Monday, where does the name come from? It's moon. It's lorded by the moon.
Okay.
So amongst other things, that makes it a great day because those activities are connected to moon for healing, like natural healing. So if you say, I want to take some natural treatments like Ayurveda, I want to go to a spa, Monday is a great day for that because the moon energy will support it. So it will be more effective. It's a great way to network socially. Like if you want to socialize, say in your neighborhood, you want to have a get-together, or it's a great day. While Tuesday is lorded by Mars, by Mangal. That's why we say Mangalvar. So Mars has an energy of fighting. He's a warrior. So if you have to fight, if you have to go to war, Tuesday is the best day. Like without...
So that's the best day for the other person as well.
No. Like it's about your intention.
Okay.
So say you have to fight. Like you have to take someone to court.
Right.
Or then if you do that on a Tuesday, so that will support you, that energy. At the same time, Mars is also responsible for accidents, cuts, burns, that kind of things. It can kill. So that's why they say, if you can, it's better to avoid doing surgeries or that kind of operations on a Tuesday because the risk is a little more. And of course, if you want to do it in detail, you always look at the person's personal chart because maybe in your case, Mars is someone that also really supports you. But as a general rule, this is the case. So if you have to travel, maybe try to avoid Tuesday just because the chance for accidents may be a little bigger, Nothing to be paranoid about. But again, that's why I said if you have a mantra, then you say, okay, I cannot avoid it. I have to travel today. Okay, I'll sit, I'll make sure I do, especially that day, I'll do my Om Namah Shivaya chanting in the morning before I leave the house. So you have your protection, And the same way, say Guruvar, Thursday, for example, is a great day to start anything new, especially when it comes to knowledge, to learning, because Guru energy. Guru is also the one who resolves conflicts peacefully. So if you have an issue and if you want to fight it out, say with your spouse or with your neighbor, then Tuesday is the day to meet. But if you say, no, I want to see if we can resolve this amicably, conflict resolution, then Thursday is a better day because then Guru will support it. Friday is Venus, Shukravar. So that is a great day if you want to enjoy, It's a great day to do creative things. It's the best day to have a first date, for example, because Shukra supports relationships. Even if you have to get married and they say, we cannot find any good muhurta. Weddings here are a big thing. If nothing else works or you have very limited options, then always take Friday. At least there you cannot go wrong. And if you look at it, like if you look at the world, this is the reason that almost everywhere, when new movies are released and things like that, it happens on a Friday. Now, it's not that all these people know Jyotish, but over time they would have seen that if I release a new movie on Friday, it does better.
Yeah.
Sales are better. The tickets go better and it's well received. Why? Because Venus is supporting that. Like that way, if you see, and then Saturday, that is Shani's day, it's a great day to clean, to do like that kind of, a little bit more intense labor, things like that. So these are just some small examples, but when you start seeing that, okay, and like you said, with the moon, the phases of the moon, because when full moon is there, moon is connected to the mind. So then your mind is the strongest. It's full, but it goes up and down. So if you have the Amavasya, the new moon, that is when your mind is basically gone. The moon is gone. It's very small. It's very weak.
Correct.
So that's not a good day to make new decisions, of have important meetings or travel, for example, if you can avoid it. Sometimes you can't. So then you have the mantra, you can do the remedy. But if you have a choice, so then you start seeing that, okay, what are these rhythms in nature, and how can I go with the current? How can I ride the waves? Because we all know timing is everything.
IVM